Well, thank you so much for joining us in another edition of Sauti ya Mkulima. As you know, it's Thursday, and today we usually profile some of the farmers who are making it big and making it also training farmers, other farmers on various ways they can practice their agricultural ventures. So today we are joined by Robert Mwakio, who is an aquaponic farmer. He's going to tell us more about himself and how he started his aquaponic farming system.
I was very interested with what was going on in our university because it was an mechanical university. They used to do aquaponics at a very advanced level. So I got some interest in aquaponics, and when I was coming back to Kenya, I said, why can't we be able to have such a farming technique and try to Africanize it in such a way that we can be able to use readily materials and incorporate anything so that this farming can be able to be practiced by a local farmer. So I tried here and there to get a few materials here and there, and with the little investment I had, I decided to set up something for my mother, who actually stays in Kisumu. So that was probably in 2014-15. So we did a small project there. I know she just told her, you keep on taking care of this fish, just pump time, give this fish food, So when I came back to Nairobi, I totally forgot about the project. And a couple of months, it was about 6-7 months, my mom calls me, telling me, well, your fish are ready. What can we do about that? I was just doing it as as a project, something I could do, see if it could progress. And came to realize this project can be quite viable, and that is when I started partnering with big organizations. And from there we realized this thing can go big. So the model of which I used this is just using locally available material. Could be able to collect tanks, old tanks, oil tanks, and just plastics and all that. And I was able to copy whatever I used to see. Use these readily available materials to to do the project. So when I realized this thing can work in a small scale, we could go big. So we tried here and there doing it big, and at the end of the day, I realized that this project can be quite a viable project because of hassle free, especially once you having, and number two, it doesn't require a lot of labor. It's not expensive. Once you have the thing set up, it's quite easy. So through the journey, I've been here and there, and I've realized it's really picking up, even though it's a new project in Africa. I've realized it's picking quite fast, and so many people are embracing it as a technology. The usual, very many people are a bit skeptical or a bit scared about indulging into aquaponics. But with time, I know with perfection and more and bigger stakeholders coming in, we can be able to upscale aquaponic to be a big project in Kenya. Yeah, thank you, Jess.
Your story is interesting, Robert, because I was reading an article on the internet, and I saw you started it on the balcony. Tell us about that.
So after that, after doing something, I did it in our backyard, and I didn't tell you about that part where we had lots and lots of fish until we couldn't do anything about it. Looking at fish, and we are saying, what can we do with this fish? So we started donating to a few friends here and there. I came here, put a lot of fish in my fridge. I wasn't a keen person in fish, especially eating fish. I wasn't that quite keen, but I ended up liking, and we ate a lot of fish. That's when I realized, now if you have such a project and it can serve a purpose, especially people within, because it's a small project that you can do it's a project that you can do over very small space. Yeah. Now, talking of space, that's when I came to realize we can do a little twist here, and we decided to do a project on a balcony because there was a lot of space up. And I realized, and if you've been to developed countries, more so the West or so many countries in the East, like Singapore, Hong Kong, most people are doing their farms on the balconies of Sky. Find people doing big, they have big farms where they harvest a lot. So twist, we said, why can't we try this? We did an aquaponic on their balcony, and did quite well.
Probably you can maybe define how this aquaponic system works. Maybe someone has never seen what is an aquaponic. Probably describe it. How does it look like?
Okay, now aquaponic has some components. Number one, we have something called a grow media. That is where we put vegetables. And this grow media has to be porous. It has to be porous, meaning it has to allow water to seep through. So when we have an aquaponic, we also need to have a holding tank where we have our fish. And then we have to know how to direct the water. So we have these two components, the grow bed and the fish tank. So we get the water from the fish, use pipes. We direct the pipes into a grow media. Like you can see from the video, we are having, the grow media normally has porous things like rocks, normal kokoto. For those people who cannot access things like peat, we can do coconut shell like we've done in Mombasa. You can do even cowrie shells, so able to hold water. And then after that, so after you have this component, the pipes are able to channel the water using a pump from the pond to the grow media. So through the grow media, we allow the water to seep through. So normally we normally allow it using gravity, or if you have a strong pump, you can allow it to pass through. And now it acts like a sprinkler irrigation system. So the water goes through the grow media, and as it goes through, remember it sieves the water, and as it sieves, we're able to sieve the fish waste and all things like feed that comes from the fish pond, and all the extra waste. And then after that, the vegetable are able to absorb directly the nutrients. So when they do this, they grow quite well. You remember, what soil does is just anchoring and giving nutrients. Now what we have here already have nutrients. So what we need the rocks to do is just to hold firmly these vegetables, and that's why you can see that the vegetables grow very healthy, because they're able to absorb the nutrient-rich water from the soil, from the fish pond. That we even added a twist to this system, even chicken on top of the whole system, to supplement feed to the fish. When the chicken are walking on top there, they can be able to pour the waste down to the feed. But that being said, the vegetables are able to grow because we constant supply of fish waste that goes straight to that to the vegetables. And as we do this, the vegetables grow fast. We don't need to apply any other fertilizer to that, because we're already getting ammonia rich fertilizer. Yeah. Thank you, Jackie.
It's interesting there. I've seen a structure that has like a fish pond down, then the grower bed and a poultry cage or something. Tell us that structure. What animals can be raised in such kind of aquaponic system?
So like I told you, we have a twist to this where we added chicken, because we wanted to supplement feeds. And fish, when chicken waste gets into the pond, what it does, it fertilizes the pond. We allow microscopic planktons, which are able to, and actually beneficial algae, which form actually part of the feed to the fish. So with this, you're all able to supplement feed, and it also helps the farmer reduce the amount of money you're spending on fish feed. Yeah. So when you're having integrated, you've integrated three kind of agricultural system. You have fish farming and chicken farming. You can add ducks. You can do ducks. You can we won't encourage it's because of the rabbit urine is a bit too strong. But if you can be able to channel, or you can be able to control the waste, then it's well and good. You can do quail, you can do ducks. In fact, in some parts of the world, people are able to do ducks because ducks are ducks water, and during that time they can be able to put the waste directly to the water, and even they actually protect the fish from birds of prey. So you can also use ducks, you can eat several things. There are people who even use cows. Only not that the cow structure is on top, but there are ways they can integrate the system. The integration now is where the world is going to, because you're trying to save while you're also trying to be productive as a farmer.
There's one interesting question that farmers have been asking about aquaponic systems. Why can't you use soil in that kind of system, like the loam soil and clay soil? Or also you can also explain the types of soil that are favorable for this kind of system.
About something that's porous. Why did I say porous? Because you want a type of soil or a type of medium that can allow to seep through. When you put soil like clay and sand, we won't be able to get whatever we need in terms of sieving the water. We want to go flowing back on. I even mentioned that when the water is sieving, it cleans the water for the fish. So we want when the water goes down into the pond, we are able to we're able to have water that's clean, and as it gets back, it also increases oxygen absorption because of the impact. If you project that we have there, we intentionally had to bed on top of the fish pond to enable the water flow back with an impact, so that when the water flows to the pond, it's able to increase oxygen. You see, like when you trying to cool your tea using another cup of tea, so you create bubbles. So when that bubble up, oxygen is dissolved into the water. So when we do this, are able to increase the oxygen levels of the water, so the fish can be able to survive. Something you do not achieve in an pond that is just dug without an inlet and an out. So like you said, we cannot use loam soil, we cannot use kind of soil. But if you have porous rocks, you see different types of rocks, so long as they are inert, the word here is inert, they do not have any form of composition, because with a chemical composition, it might affect the fish, the pH of the water fish are. So we need something that is inert, and the best is actually you can use, like I said, we can use peat, we can use rocks, you can call it kokoto. We like whatever you're saying is pumice. That's pumice, the one we get in Naivasha. They're the volcanic rocks that you use when you see, back in the days we used to brush when we are trying to clean our sole of our feet. We used to use that kind of a rock to do that. Yeah, and even if somebody lives near a riverbed, you can use the rocks that you find near the riverbed. That one can also work quite well, but soil is out of the question.
Quite interesting. This conversation can never end, and I think we'll keep looking for you to train us on aquaponic farming. But for purposes of farmers who are interested to maybe install an aquaponic system, how much can it cost? And if they want someone to put it up for them, do you usually install for them? And where can you be found?
Thank you so much. Now, there are so many people who are interested in aquaponics, and before you make a decision of going into aquaponics, what I normally tell people, you have to have your facts right, and you have to have proper information on aquaponics, what it entails, not rushing into something that in the future you won't be able to understand what you are getting into. So once you have the information ready, market research. Ask yourself, do I need to have this as something that is going to generate income for me, or is just something for myself? Now, after that, you might be able, because a simple structure like what you've shown on the video, you're able to generate up to between 500 and even 1,000 fish from such a small system. So what can you do if you have such fish? Well, what can you do to them? Are you going to sell it? So you have to look at your market. Are you going to, where are you going to sell your vegetables? Where are you going to do? Where will you have your market? After that, you can get in contact with you. We look at your farm, your intended farm, the size, because this I can call space efficient kind of agriculture, where when you're doing your agricultural practice, we were looking at space as a factor. So there are people who tell us we have 20 acres of farm. You know, the bigger the farm, the mechanization, so the more expensive it might be. So if you want to start, you'd rather start with something that can be able to be cost effective. So like the small structure you've seen there is actually about 170,000 shillings, Nairobi, but the price differs parts of the country. So whatever you're saying is this is what we call the backyard aquaponics system, where we have two tanks, and we're able to modify it, have the fish pond, and we can have the vegetables. And after that, we can be able, we do everything for you. We do the construction, we do the kokoto or peat or whichever media that we use, including fish. We also do for you the fingerlings. I do for you the fingerlings, and the first 2 months I supply feeds. I actually have to take care, because fingerlings are very sensitive within the first 3 months. So if you take care of them at that point, that is where you're assured of you'll be assured proper harvest. But if you have mortality over this period, just realize that you might be having a problem maybe with your water or your system. But after 3, you can be able to hand it over to you, so that you can be able to continue with it.
About the kind of harvest that comes out from this system, can it only be used for maybe home use, or can someone use an aquaponic system for selling produce to maybe other people, maybe their neighbors, or even in the market? How much produce can come out from an aquaponic system?
Yeah, take you back to that story I said in the beginning, where I did something small for my mom at her backyard, and we were able to get about over 150 fish, and they're actually not small fish, they're big fish, and to have a market for them. So if you have, what we really encourage people, like for example, if you have a small pond like that, you can sell it small to the local vendors, fish vendors around. And by selling it, you can be able to, get your return on investment eventually, because you won't want to have your return on investment just on your first harvest. And remember, we're using a very durable materials, and they can be with you for over 20 years, because some of those materials are quite strong. So at the end of the day, it is an investment that somebody wants to get his money back. And if you want to get your, you need to understand your market pattern. If I'm to sell fish, if I'm to sell it to the market, do I have a market? If I want to use it for my own personal consumption, for example, the smallest system like the one that you do on the video can give you at least 200 fish. If you have 200 fish, what to do with it? Are you going to just have it, or are you going to sell it to farmers around there? And if you have the vegetables, I won't say that they're enough for sale, but they're enough for sustainability, because like the one we have, we keep on having vegetables all through the year, depending on during drought, during rainy season, we continuously have it through the year, because this kind of system does not depend on any weather pattern. Plant anything. We did until we decided just to put strawberries, so we can be able to just get strawberries from there. But I have done prototype, something that somebody can come and view. It's actually at our point location at Ridgeways. Probably maybe Jackie will give out the information later on. Anybody is welcome to come and view it for free, and then from there you can make a decision and you can meet us one-on-one. We can discuss, we can advise you fully on this investment.
Lastly, tell us the types of aquaponics that are available, because I know this topic is very wide and we cannot finish it in one sitting, but maybe tell us the types of aquaponics that you have and maybe which is the most recommended size for an aquaponic system for a beginner.
Okay, remember aquaponic is a new thing in the world, yeah, because it's aquaponic and hydroponic actually related in a way. So I wouldn't want to go into the names or the names of aquaponic systems, but what I'll just try to class as per their sizes. So we have the basic backyard aquaponic system like the one I've done there. The backyard aquaponic system will be able to give you quite from 200 to 1,000 fish depending on how many tanks you're using. We also have the open field aquaponic system where we are able to dig a big a pond, and then from the pond we're able to move the water around, have a mini greenhouse. So that's depending on density. We have the semi-intensive kind of aquaponic system where a farmer wants more than 2,000 fish, and intensive one went above 10,000 fish. So depending on what you want to invest, we have, but the basic one is just a basic backyard aquaponic system where you can have it outside your home, and from there we can have the semi-intensive where we can do it on your ground. It's about 1/8 of a plot size to do it for you. And then we have the big ones. So depending on how they're more expensive they become, because there's a lot of mechanization in the system and also a lot of electricity that will be used.
The questions keep coming because we're running out of time, but the questions keep coming. There's one who's asking the difference between aquaponics and hydroponics.
So yeah, aquaponic has that's an age-old question. Aquaponic relies on fish. Hydroponic is actually solution based. That's the simplest explanation I can give you. So aquaponic aquaponic incorporates hydroponic in such a way. Hydroponics are also soil free but solution based. But when you have an hydroponic in an aquaponic is where we channel the water fish so that the plants can be able to absorb the nutrients from the fish waste. Yeah. So the hydroponic system is actually, you can call it solution based. Aquaponic uses fish. So that is the main difference that you have to know about.
So no, this conversation will never end. We'll have to look for you again sometime next week, so that maybe you can expand more and also educate and inform farmers on easy ways of practicing farming just on your backyard.
And also on if you have a balcony, that for you.
Thank you so much for joining us in today's edition. We'll be looking for you again some other time. Okay, and that has been Sauti ya Mkulima, which usually comes to you every Thursday. And we usually will be looking for farmers to maybe talk to them and profile them. If you have any kind of farming that you feel needs to be shown on our TV station, on our Facebook channel, make sure to tune in on our Facebook pages at Farmers Media. We also have Join Africa Farmers Club. You can also watch our stories on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is at Farmers Media. I've been your host, Jacqueline Kemunto. Until next time, goodbye for now.
Farmers Media presents COVID-19 protection measures. Wash your hands with soap and water regularly. Avoid touching your eyes, nose or mouth. Use a face mask. Keep the social distance of at least 1.5 meters. Stay at home, only leave when necessary. If you are experiencing any COVID-19 symptoms, call 719 or dial *719# for more information. Stay at home and let us flatten the curve.